All right, so we've got a whole stack of research here about Phuket real estate.
Yeah.
Looks like you're thinking beyond just like those beaches and seeing some real investment potential in Phuket.
Yeah. Yeah.
But real estate could be kind of intimidating anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're here,
Right.
to break it all down and see if Phuket really is all that it's cracked up to be.
Well, what's really interesting is it seems like Phuket is riding this wave of like global real estate trends.
Yeah.
But it's got its own little twist.
I
It's
think-
not just supply and demand, although that definitely plays a role.
Right, right.
But it's a bit more nuanced than that.
So let's get into those nuances then.
Yeah.
The research mentions limited land availability.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that actually look like in terms of numbers? What kind of appreciation are we talking?
Well, some reports are suggesting that Phuket has seen an average annual appreciation rate of around, 5 to 7% over the past few years,
Okay.
especially for those like high-end villas.
Okay, so that is pretty attractive compared to some other maybe more established markets.
Right.
So what is it that's driving that demand?
I think it's really a mix of things.
Okay.
The rise of remote work is definitely a factor.
Yeah.
People are realizing they can live and work from pretty much anywhere.
Right.
So why not paradise, right?
Makes sense.
And then you also have, government incentives aimed at attracting foreign investment,
Okay.
especially in that luxury sector.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So these luxury villas, they're not just like vacation homes anymore, are they?
No.
They're like part of this whole global shift in how we're like living and working.
Exactly. And the research you provided dives into some specific features
Yeah.
that are attracting like these high net worth individuals,
Yeah.
private beaches, golf courses, top-notch security.
Yeah.
It's all about that exclusivity, a certain lifestyle.
So it's not just owning like a piece of paradise. It's owning a piece of paradise that comes with a whole experience.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And those experiences translate into premium rental rates,
Of course.
which is another, key driver of investment.
Yeah.
Imagine you own a villa and it's generating all this income even when you're not there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to see the appeal. But Phuket is more than just luxury villas, right?
No, absolutely.
What about some other options that are maybe a little more approachable?
Yeah. Your research actually highlights a range of different neighborhoods, each with its own distinct, character, its own investment potential. It's not a one-size-fits-all market.
This is where it gets interesting. I'm like picturing a map of Phuket
Yeah.
with all these different neighborhoods.
Right.
Each one kind of catering to a different type of investor or resident.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Yeah.
Let's start with Patong,
Okay.
the heart of Phuket's nightlife.
Right.
Your research paints it as this vibrant, energetic hub,
Yeah.
but it also mentions concerns about noise.
Yeah, that's something I'd worry about.
Yeah.
Who wants to invest in a property that's constantly just bombarded by noise?
Right.
That would deter renters too, right?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
While Patong's party atmosphere attracts a certain crowd,
Mm-hmm.
it might not be ideal for everyone.
Right.
Investors need to carefully consider their target market.
Right.
Are they looking for a tranquil retreat or a lively party scene?
So if peace and quiet are more of a priority, where should investors be looking?
Well, your research highlights Kamala as a potential haven for tranquility seekers.
Okay.
It's described as having, upscale resorts,
Right.
quiet beaches,
Okay.
a completely different vibe from Patong.
So you've got Patong for the night owls,
Mm-hmm.
Kamala for those seeking a more serene escape.
Yeah.
What about something in between? Like a
Yeah.
blend of activity and tranquility?
Yeah, that's where Kata comes in.
Okay.
Your research describes it as offering the best of both worlds.
Okay.
It's got that mix of lively energy and peaceful relaxation. And it seems to attract a more diverse range of residents,
Okay.
which could be a good indicator of its overall appeal.
And what about the price points in these different areas?
Yeah,
Are we talking similar investment levels?
that's a crucial question.
Yeah.
Your research actually provides some specific figures for Kamala.
Okay.
Seaview condos there can range from 4 million to 12.5 million Thai baht,
Wow.
while hillside villas start around 12.75 million.
Okay, so those are some significant figures.
Yeah.
So Kamal is definitely catering to a certain segment of the market.
Yes, it seems to attract a more affluent crowd,
Right.
those seeking luxury and tranquility.
Right.
But remember, prices can fluctuate
Right.
depending on various factors like the property size, amenities, and of course that all-important view.
Of course, yeah, okay. So location and property type clearly play a huge role in determining the price points.
Mm-hmm.
What about the other neighborhoods you mentioned?
Yeah.
Where do those fit in on this spectrum?
Well, you also included research on Hawaii,
Okay.
which seems to attract a different demographic altogether.
Okay.
It's described as being steeped in, like, local Thai culture
Okay.
with a slower pace of life.
Mm-hmm.
That appeals to retirees and expats looking for a more authentic experience.
So it's not just the property itself, right? It's the lifestyle that comes with it.
Right.
Like investing in Hawaii, you're tapping into a specific market segment
Exactly.
that values those cultural nuances and that more laid-back atmosphere.
And then there's Surin,
Okay.
described as the epitome of elegance by the sea.
Okay.
High-end resorts,
Yeah.
fine dining, luxurious condos with breathtaking views.
Okay.
But that exclusivity comes at a price.
Right. So I'm guessing Surin is where we'd find those million-dollar villas
Yeah,
and a clientele with, like, very discerning tastes.
you're spot on.
Okay.
Surin is for those seeking that sophisticated and exclusive lifestyle.
Right.
And the prices reflect that. It's a high-stakes game.
Yeah.
But the potential returns are equally enticing,
Of course.
especially for those targeting that luxury rental market.
Okay, so we've got Patong for the party goers,
Mm-hmm.
Kamala for the luxury seekers,
Yeah.
Rawai for the culture enthusiasts,
Mm-hmm.
Surin for those seeking that high-end exclusivity.
Yeah,
It seems like Phuket really does offer something for everyone.
it does.
But before we get, like, swept away in the allure of all these different neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the practicalities of investing in Phuket.
Yeah.
These guaranteed rental returns that some developers offer,
Right.
they sound almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
Is there a catch?
That's a very shrewd observation.
Okay.
On the surface, a fixed return, regardless of occupancy rates, does sound incredibly appealing.
Right.
Especially for first-time investors.
Yeah.
But digging deeper into your research,
Yeah.
there's a potential trade-off.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's the downside?
Well, Phuket's rental market is actually quite strong,
Okay.
and average yields might actually exceed those guaranteed rates.
Right.
So by opting for guaranteed returns,
Yeah.
you might be limiting your earning potential.
So it's about weighing the security of that fixed income against the potential for higher returns.
Right.
If you're willing to take on a little more risk.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And managing your own rentals or choosing properties without those guarantees allows you to capitalize on market fluctuations
Okay.
and potentially maximize your profits.
This is already getting more complex than I initially thought. But I guess that's why we're doing this deep dive, right?
Right.
The more we understand, the better equipped we'll be to make those decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of informed decisions, there's another layer we need to peel back.
Go.
The legal landscape of investing in Phuket
Right.
can be tricky,
Okay.
especially for foreign investors.
Yeah. I'm sensing some potential headaches here. What do we need to know?
Well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
understanding land title deeds is crucial.
Okay.
Your research mentions Shinote and Norsor 3.
Those ring a bell, yeah.
Do they?
There are different types of deeds, right?
They are different types of deeds.
But I'm a little fuzzy on the details and why they matter so much.
You're right. They are different types of deeds.
Yeah.
And the distinction is critical.
Okay.
A shinote is the most secure type of ownership,
Okay.
equivalent to freehold ownership.
Okay.
Norsor 3, however, comes with restrictions
Okay.
on transfer or development.
Okay. So knowing which type of deed you're dealing with is essential.
Absolutely.
It's not just about the property itself.
Right.
It's about, like, what level of ownership you actually have.
Yes.
What else should we be wary of?
Fees and taxes,
Right.
transfer fees, stamp duty, business tax.
Yep.
These can add up quickly if you're not prepared.
It's easy to get swept away by the beauty of Phuket and overlook those practicalities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Factoring those costs into your budget from the outset is essential.
Right.
And then there's the issue of foreign ownership restrictions.
Okay.
Foreigners can't own land outright in Thailand.
Right.
So leasehold ownership is common.
So you're essentially leasing the land for a specific period.
Yes.
Okay.
Typically up to 30 years with options for renewal.
Okay.
But understanding the nuances of leasehold ownership,
Yeah.
any potential limitations, is crucial.
Right. I'm starting to understand why this deep dive is so important.
Yeah.
It's about looking beyond the surface
Right.
and understanding the complexities beneath those beautiful beaches.
And that's just the beginning.
Okay.
We still need to explore Phuket's future
Yeah.
and how it might impact the real estate market in the years to come.
All right. I'm ready for the next layer.
Yeah.
What's on the horizon for Phuket?
Okay.
And what does it mean for those looking to invest?
Well, before we jump into the future,
Yeah.
I think it's worth circling back to those diverse neighborhoods we touched on. Remember, each one caters to like a specific type of resident or investor.
Right. Yeah.
And understanding those nuances is key to making like smart decisions.
Right. It's like those real estate shows where they say location, location, location.
Exactly.
But it's more than just a catchy phrase.
Yeah.
It's about really understanding the dynamics of each area.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's revisit Patong, for instance.
Okay.
Yes, it's known for its vibrant nightlife,
Mm-hmm.
but your research also highlighted increasing regulations on short-term rentals
Yeah.
in some areas.
Okay.
Does that impact Patong's long-term investment potential?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
If Patong's like party-centric model is facing these regulatory hurdles, wouldn't that make investors nervous?
It's definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
While the short-term rental market might still be strong,
Yeah.
any potential changes in regulations could impact rental yields
Right.
and occupancy rates.
Right.
Investors need to stay informed
Yeah.
and adapt to those shifts.
So it's not just about choosing a location.
Right.
It's about anticipating potential changes
Yeah,
and understanding how they might affect your investment.
precisely.
Okay.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
we have Kamala.
Okay.
Your research mentioned, sea view condos and hillside villas,
Hmm.
clearly targeting a more affluent clientele.
Right.
But what about the rental yields in Kamala?
Yeah, good question.
How do they compare to, say, Patong?
Yeah, if you're investing in a luxury property in Kamal,
Right.
what kind of return can you realistically expect?
Well, while Patong might see higher occupancy rates
Mhm.
due to its constant influx of tourists,
Right.
Kamala's luxury properties
Yeah.
command premium rental rates,
Oh,
especially during peak season.
okay.
It's a trade-off between volume and price point.
So Batong is about high turnover,
Right.
while Kamala is about attracting those high-spending travelers
Yeah,
who are willing to pay a premium for luxury and tranquility.
you got it.
Yeah.
And understanding those subtle differences
Mhm.
in rental dynamics is crucial
Right.
when comparing investment opportunities
Yeah.
across different neighborhoods.
Okay, so we've looked at Patong and Kamala, each catering to a distinct market segment.
Right.
What about Roway? How does its rental market stack up?
Rowai's rental market is a bit more nuanced.
Okay.
Remember, it attracts retirees and expats
Yeah.
seeking a slower pace of life
Mm-hmm.
and cultural immersion.
Right.
So we're not talking about short-term vacation rentals here.
Okay.
It's more about long-term leases
Right.
and catering to a specific demographic.
So it's a different kind of investment strategy.
Oh.
It's about consistency
Yeah,
and targeting that niche market.
precisely.
Okay.
And then we have Surin,
Yeah.
the epitome of luxury and exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious,
Yeah.
what kind of properties are typically rented out in Surin?
Yeah.
Are we talking entire villas,
Yeah.
or are there smaller units available?
I'd imagine most people looking for that Surin experience want the whole package.
Yeah.
Like the private pool, the stunning views,
Yeah,
the whole shebang.
you're probably right.
Yeah.
But your research did mention
Yeah.
that some luxury condos in Surin
Okay.
offer rental management programs,
Okay.
allowing owners to generate income
Right.
when they're not using the property.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So even in that high-end market,
Mm-hmm.
there are options for those who want a more hands-off approach
Exactly.
to rental management.
And it highlights the importance of researching,
Yeah.
not just the location and property type,
Right.
but also the management options available,
Yeah.
especially if you're considering rental income as part of your investment strategy.
Okay.
And what about Kaita?
Yeah.
Remember, it was described as the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
lively yet tranquil.
Right.
How does that translate into its rental market?
Good question.
Kaita's rental market reflects that balanced approach.
Yeah.
It attracts both short-term vacationers
Mhm.
and long-term residents,
Okay.
offering a wider range of rental options and price points.
So it's a more diverse market.
Yeah.
Appealing to a broader range of investors and renters.
Exactly.
Okay.
And finally, we have Bangtao.
Okay.
known for its like family-friendly atmosphere and diverse community.
Yeah.
What kind of rental demand do you think we'd see in Bangtao?
Well, if it's popular with families,
Yeah.
I'd imagine there's a good market for like larger units, maybe condos with multiple bedrooms,
Yeah.
or even villas with like kid-friendly amenities.
You're thinking along the right lines.
Okay.
Your research also mentioned Bangtao's safety features,
Right.
which are a major draw for families,
Okay.
contributing to a stable and desirable rental market.
So Bangtao is all about that long-term appeal,
Yeah.
targeting those families who are looking for a safe
Right.
and welcoming environment. It seems like each neighborhood has its own rental market dynamics,
It does.
driven by the type of resident and lifestyle it offers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Understanding those dynamics
Yeah.
is essential for making informed investment decisions.
Right.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about those online platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com.
Right.
They're not just for booking vacations anymore, are they?
Right. They've become such powerful tools for market research.
Exactly.
You can see what kind of properties are in demand,
Yeah.
what amenities they offer, what kind of rental rates they're commanding.
Exactly.
It's like having a window into the actual market.
Right.
You can compare your potential investment against the competition.
You can see what travelers are looking for, what they're willing to pay, what kind of reviews they're leaving.
Exactly.
Is invaluable information.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
For any investor.
Right.
And speaking of valuable information, we can't overlook the legal side of things.
Of course not.
We've touched on land title deeds and leasehold ownership earlier.
Right.
But I'm curious, what are some of the key red flags that investors should watch out for?
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the excitement
Right.
of finding like a dream property.
Yeah.
And just overlooking those legal details. What are some like common pitfalls that could turn that dream into a nightmare?
Well, one thing to be wary of is any ambiguity surrounding the land title deed.
Okay.
Make sure it's a shenote title,
Right.
as that grants you the most secure form of ownership.
Right. We learned earlier, Norse or 3 titles come with restrictions.
Exactly.
So that's a big red flag.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another thing to watch out for is any pressure to enter into nominee structures.
Right.
Remember, foreigners can't own land outright in Thailand.
Right.
And some might try to circumvent those restrictions
Yeah.
using Thai nominees. And
But that's risky,
I'd
right?
say highly risky.
Okay.
And could lead to legal complications down the line.
Right.
It's always best to work with reputable lawyers and agents who can guide you through the legal complexities
Okay.
and ensure everything is done by the book.
So transparency and due diligence are key
Absolutely.
when navigating the legal landscape of Phuket real estate.
Phuket real estate,
It seems like there are a lot of potential pitfalls
There are.
for those who aren't careful.
That's why this deep dive is so important. It's about empowering you with the knowledge
Right.
to make informed decisions and avoid those costly mistakes.
Okay, so we've covered the neighborhoods, the rental markets, the legal red flags. But what about the future?
Okay.
Those infrastructure investments you mentioned earlier.
Right.
How will they shape the future of Phuket's real estate landscape?
That's a great segue into the next chapter of our deep dive.
Okay.
Phuket is undergoing a significant transformation, and those investments are playing a key role in shaping its future.
I'm ready to see where this is all heading.
Okay.
What are some of the key developments we should be paying attention to?
Well, one of the most significant is the expansion of Phuket International Airport.
Okay.
It's designed to increase flight capacity,
Right.
accommodating more tourists
Okay.
and investors.
Okay, so more flights, more visitors. How does that translate into real estate opportunities?
Well, with increased tourism comes increased demand for accommodation,
Right.
potentially driving up rental rates
Right.
and property values.
Of course.
It's basic supply and demand.
But it's not just about the airport.
Mhm.
You mentioned other infrastructure investments as well.
Exactly. There are major improvements happening in transportation infrastructure, including new roads, highways, and even a light rail system.
Wow. A light rail system. That's ambitious.
It is.
Yeah.
And it reflects Phuket's commitment to modernization and improving connectivity.
Okay.
These transportation upgrades make it easier for people to get around the island,
Right.
benefiting both residents and tourists.
Okay, so we have improved air access, enhanced transportation networks,
Yeah.
How do you see these developments impacting property values in the long run?
They certainly have the potential
Yeah.
to drive up property values.
Right.
Improved infrastructure makes an area more desirable,
Yeah.
attracting more investors
Right.
and residents,
Of course.
which naturally leads to increased demand
Yeah.
and price appreciation.
It's like a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
These investments are creating a more attractive environment
Right.
for living, working, and investing,
Yeah,
ultimately boosting the value of real estate
exactly.
across the island.
That's a great way to put it. And it's something that, like, savvy investors
Yeah.
are already taking note of.
So this is where timing comes into play.
Right.
Those who recognize these trends
Mm-hmm.
and invest early have the potential to reap significant rewards.
That's certainly a possibility.
Okay.
But, of
Yeah.
course, as with any investment,
Right.
there are risks involved.
Of course.
Market fluctuations, regulatory changes,
Yeah.
unforeseen events.
Yeah.
These can all impact the outcome.
Right. It's not a guaranteed path to riches.
No.
But understanding these trends
Mm-hmm.
and making informed decisions can certainly increase your chances of success.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what this deep dive is all about.
Yeah.
Equipping you with the knowledge
Right.
to navigate this complex
Yeah.
and ever-evolving market.
Okay, so we've explored the neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
the rental markets,
Yeah.
the legal landscape,
Mm-hmm.
and the exciting future that lies ahead for Phuket.
Right.
But I'm still left wondering,
Yeah.
with all these factors at play,
Mm-hmm.
what's the best approach for someone looking to invest in this market?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that deserves a thorough discussion.
Okay.
But let's take a moment to reflect
Yeah.
on what we've learned so far
Yeah.
and then delve into those specific investment strategies.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
and I'm eager to put all this knowledge into action. Okay, so I feel like we've really dissected the Phuket real estate market,
Mm-hmm.
the neighborhoods, the legal intricacies,
Yeah.
those exciting future developments.
Right.
But now I'm ready for the practical part.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I actually approach investing in this market? What are the steps?
Well, it all starts with defining your personal goals.
Okay.
Are you looking for long-term capital growth,
Okay.
like those appreciating luxury villas that we talked about?
Right.
Or is consistent rental income your priority?
Right.
Your research materials hinted at a mix of both,
Yeah.
but clarifying this is going to guide your strategy.
You're right. My head's been buzzing with all these possibilities.
Yeah.
I think long-term growth is really exciting,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also really drawn to that idea of owning a property that generates income even when I'm not there.
That's a common goal.
Yeah.
So let's assume you're interested in that blend of appreciation and rental income.
Okay.
Okay, so next you'd narrow down your ideal location based on this goal.
Right.
Would the tranquility of Kamala, with its potential for attracting high-end renters, align with that?
Okay.
Or perhaps a more diverse market like Kappa, with its blend of short-term and long-term rental possibilities?
Okay, I see how those early choices really shape everything that follows.
Right.
So let's say I am drawn to Kamala's peaceful vibe
Mm-hmm.
and the potential for attracting those luxury travelers.
Okay.
What would my next steps be?
Research.
Okay.
Dig deep into reputable developers in Kamala. Don't just look at those glossy brochures.
Right.
Examine their track records, understand the quality of construction,
Right.
scrutinize the management services they offer,
Okay.
especially if you're leaning towards that rental income.
That makes sense. It's like any major investment.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a car without checking its history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And remember our discussion on leasehold ownership.
Yes.
Double check the terms, understand any restrictions,
What?
make sure you're comfortable with the duration and renewal options.
Okay.
Legal advice at this stage is crucial. Don't skimp on it.
Got it. No cutting corners when it comes to the legal stuff.
Absolutely.
Better to be safe than sorry, especially in a foreign market.
Now, while you're doing all this due diligence,
Uh-huh.
remember those online platforms we talked about.
Yeah.
Airbnb, Booking.com.
Yeah.
Use them to your advantage.
Okay.
See what comparable properties in Kamala are offering,
Okay.
what they're charging, what kind of reviews they're getting.
Right. It's like getting a sneak peek into the competition.
Exactly.
I can see what's working, what's not, what travelers are actually looking for in a Kamala rental.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And pay attention to the details.
Okay.
The photos, the descriptions, the amenity highlighted.
Yeah.
These can give you valuable insights into what attracts bookings and commands those higher rates.
This is starting to feel like a detective investigation,
Yeah,
piecing together all the clues to uncover the secrets of a successful Phuket investment.
that's a great analogy. It
Yeah.
does require a bit of sleuthing.
Yeah.
And while you're immersed in all this research, don't forget to factor in those additional costs we discussed.
Right.
Transfer fees, taxes.
Yep.
They can make a significant difference to your overall budget.
Right. Those seemingly small percentages can add up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to have a clear picture of the total investment up front.
Absolutely. And lastly, consider your personal investment style. Are you comfortable with a hands-on approach, managing rentals yourself and adapting to market fluctuations?
Okay.
Or do you prefer a more passive approach, perhaps through a rental management program?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think I'd lean towards a more hands-off approach,
Okay.
at least initially.
Okay.
I like the idea of generating income without the day-to-day hassle of managing bookings and maintenance.
Then you'd factor that preference into your property search.
Okay.
Look for developments or individual properties that offer reliable rental management services.
Right.
Perhaps even those with those guaranteed rental return schemes we discussed earlier.
Right. Those schemes offer a level of security, especially for someone like me who's, new to the market.
Right.
But I also remember our conversation about their potential downsides.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's about finding that right balance for your risk tolerance
Mhm.
and investment goals.
Right.
Perhaps a hybrid approach.
Yeah.
Where you have some properties with guaranteed returns, and others where you take on more risk for potentially higher rewards.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the nuances of the Phuket real estate market.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach.
And that's what makes it so fascinating. It's a market with a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
But realizing that potential requires, careful research, strategic decision-making,
Yeah.
and a good understanding of your personal goals and risk tolerance.
I feel much more equipped to approach this market strategically now.
Hmm.
And I have to say, I'm even more excited about the prospect of owning a piece of paradise.
That's what we like to hear. Remember, this is just the beginning of your Phuket real estate journey.
Yeah.
There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more opportunities to uncover.
Well, to our listener, we hope this deep dive into Phuket real estate has been as insightful for you as it has been for me. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From those luxurious villas to those diverse neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
the legal complexities,
Yeah.
the potential pitfalls, and those exciting future developments that are shaping this dynamic market.
And most importantly, we've emphasized the importance of defining your personal investment goals, conducting thorough research,
Yeah.
and making informed decisions that align with your risk tolerance and vision for the future.
Remember, Phuket offers something for everyone, from seasoned investors to those just starting to dip their toes into the world of real estate.
So, armed with the knowledge from this deep dive, we encourage you to continue your own exploration of this fascinating market. Who knows, you might just find your own piece of paradise waiting for you.
Happy investing.